Welcome to Channelside Bets with your hosts, Nikki Gist, Chip Settle, and L. Bushman.
And welcome, everybody, to another live edition of Channelside Bets. It's time to cash those checks and play some bets. It is I, Evan L. Bushman, and of course, my man, Chip Settle. We are Nikki-less today. She is traveling for a conference. She will be back in one more week because she's going to the Giants game next week, so we will not have her on the show, but she is out and about. Maybe she'll be tweeting out some stuff today, but you got us, and that's all you need for Channelside Bets, presented to you by Channelside Sports. Make sure to go to Channelside Sports YouTube page and hit that subscribe and notification bell to get our newest episodes that come on board, and also to tune into Channelside Sports in the morning with Danny Bennett, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. He is actually at the Bucks-Falcons game today, so he'll be tweeting out some stuff, too, as our show goes on. So, Chip, what's going on, brother, man? How are you on week 5? We've got a game going on right now. It's the Packers and the Giants. They are over in Mario, London, England. The Packers are beating the Giants so far 20-13. It's about 5:20 left in the third quarter right now.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers, he's got about 17 points in fantasy right now.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah. So now, I believe all the NFL teams have played in England, so everybody's been over there. So that's pretty cool. And I'm glad that we have football at 9:30 in the morning, which is nice.
It's always good to wake up and start your day with that. I got to tell you though, I've been trying to figure out how to use NFL Plus and log in, and I think the next upcoming year when the NFL obviously sells their rights and we got to go to all these places to watch games. That's the only thing I hate about this new schedule trying to watch.
You know, I was on the fence about getting NFL Plus. Do you like it? Because I know you can only watch on a phone and a tablet. You can't watch on TV because they don't have it yet.
Correct. It was an accidental sign up, to be honest with you. Like, it renewed from the year before and it just rolled right in. So I'm trying to use it. It's radio broadcast of every game pretty much. And then the local feeds you'll get. So I like it because of the replays. I can watch condensed replays. You can watch a whole game, and I think it's like an hour or 55 minutes. So that's good, but definitely something I won't have next year. No way rolling subscription, but I'm trying to get what I can out of it now that I have it.
I was really on the fence about it because there's so much up in the air about where the NFL Sunday ticket's going to be next year because the rights are up with DirecTV this year. So right now it's a bidding war of where it's going to go to. It could go to Amazon. It could go to Apple. It could even go to like Disney for those three big, juggernaut giants of streaming service. So it's kind of up in the air where it's going. And when I found out you can't stream on TV through NFL Plus, I was like, what is the point? Like, I'm not going to be in my house watching on my phone all the games when I could just watch on my TV and go through a channel like YouTube TV where they have NFL Red Zone, which is included in their package. So I think the NFL kind of dropped the ball when it comes to this initial launch of their own streaming type of app. So NFL, clean it up.
I got like I said, for that subscription, but like you said, I mean, right now going into this year, we had no idea how it was going to work. So I bought almost every app. I've got Peacock, I got Paramount, so I did what probably most people, or maybe some people did, is that you want to get the best access to NFL, and some of those apps, Paramount Plus, you can stream it as well. So I bought everything. So I'll be looking forward to next year when they decide, and then I'll cut out, all the other apps.
Right. All I have now is Amazon and YouTube TV with the NFL Red Zone package. That's all I need right now. And
I think that's a good call.
Yeah, until they figure out what to do with the Sunday ticket, and I'll just wait on that too as well. So, all right, well, everybody, thanks for tuning in to Channelside Bets. We are in week 5 right now. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to figure out all the DFS and player stocks and players to get in your lineups today and make sure to place your right bets. And if you got a betting problem, make sure to get that fixed because nobody wants that in their lives. But anyways, let's go to the Thursday night recap and the Russell Wilson conversation, which everybody was talking about after the game. Can we finally say there's something not right in Denver, Chip?
I mean, I think you can. I saw some injury news come out that he's got a partially torn lat. that was sustained during that game. So up until now, I really liked what transpired in Denver, going to get a quarterback, knowing you need that one piece, and trying to bring him in. But I was also at the beginning of this year realistic. Quarterbacks rarely go new places. Now, Russell Wilson is a above tier, top tier quarterback, I still think. But when you go to a new system, it's like learning a new language. So you got to give quarterbacks time to catch up and process. Tom Brady, who we all know is the GOAT, who came in and basically, had a flawless transition and was able to come in and make things work. I think Russell Wilson, obviously with the injury and just trying to get a system up and going, it's just going to take longer. So I think he eventually gets it. But with this injury, obviously this brings a whole new bowl of worms to the forefront.
When do you think, we're in week 5 and
Yeah.
So far 2 of the games that really have been questionable calls about, especially the last part of the game. The Thursday night game, it was almost kind of, even Richard Sherman was having PTSD on the broadcast for Amazon Prime, where he was like, you should have just ran the ball instead of doing a passing play. How long do you think it's going to take for Russ and that offense to really click, though? Obviously Nathaniel Hackett's a first-time head coach. Yep. He seems to be like a deer in headlights sometimes when it comes to the coaching decisions that he has. But I don't know, man. Kyle Brandt had his 2 cents to share on Good Morning Football the other day about Russell Wilson. Let's take a listen to what Kyle Brandt had to say.
Okay.
On places really fast. The last play is meaningful, not in just that it was KJ Hamler or not that he missed. It's the reaction afterwards from Hamler. It's spiking the helmets. It's that I don't know when Russell Wilson turned into Mitch Trubisky, but I wish he would turn into Geno Smith so they could win a game. Okay? Right. Because Geno makes that play 10 times out of 10. And then afterwards, they got a 4th and 1. They want to go for it. Look at that. That is a teammate that is on national television as at home. Afterwards, it's just perfect. They pass when maybe they should have run. I think Russell Wilson is one of the least authentic personalities we have in this league. I think Russell Wilson is a poser. And that doesn't mean he's a bad person. I actually think he's a good person. I think he tries to be something that he's not. And when you make the $245 million, you either got to be a really great guy with the locker room who loves you, or you got to be an amazing player. Brady, who makes half of what Russell's making, is both. Rodgers, MVP. Patrick Mahomes, both. Allen, people love him. He's amazing. Kyler, we'll find out. Russell Wilson, first of all, the NFL, the Broncos fan base has no history with him. They have no allegiance to him. This is not a Seahawks thing that they drafted him. They grew up with him. He's their guy. None of that. I work the NFL honors. I work the red carpet. Kelsey comes by, Rodgers comes by. Russell Wilson shows up with his sunglasses and his wife, and I think they think they're Jay-Z and Beyonce, and they will literally put their hand up and say, no, we're not talking. Why? Because you think you're that cool and you're that famous and you're that amazing and everything is so perfect. That does not work in a locker room unless you are really good or really, really good guy. It just doesn't work. $245 million, that can come unraveled fast.
Strong words by Kyle Brandt there. A poser. Yeah. Poser.
Well, you never heard, and maybe this was the situation, obviously, that was boiling in Seattle. We never heard anything about that type of locker room issue or locker room problem. I just remember the contract negotiations, and when he talked about getting out of Seattle, it always seemed like on the surface he was a great teammate, a leader in the locker room, and a pillar of the community up there. So I don't know if he's a poser. Maybe if he's a poser, he's got a Super Bowl and he's been doing it for a long time. So he's been hiding poser for like a long time. So, I give a little bit of credit maybe to see that, okay, maybe Russell Wilson isn't all he's cracked up to be. He's not the good guy that we've always heard about and pillar of the community and locker room champ. Maybe there's something else going on, but at the same time, he was injured that game, partially torn lat. Decision-making, obviously, is definitely in question with Hackett at the helm. Coach is another reason why I think they're struggling. But you have to live within the system and learn it and get through it. And he's doing that, I think. But now you got to deal with an injury, too. So you got to see what's better for the Denver Broncos right now. Is it a hurt Russell Wilson or is it somebody else?
I don't know if I agree with the poser comments that Brand said. I mean, it's strong words coming from him, especially on a large, especially coming from a show that's on the NFL Network. I mean, you're
Correct.
representing
Those
the
teams
network.
watch that show almost every day. Every team watches that show religiously.
Exactly. So that takes big cojones to say something like that to a superstar in the league right now. But I mean, I think towards the end of their time together with him in Seattle, I mean, there were some murmurs of him coming out just being kind of a diva when it came to being on it. Because I mean, obviously he wanted out. He wanted out of Seattle.
Yeah.
And what kind of makes this almost as comedic as possible is, look, Geno Smith actually looks really good in that system. where last year Russ didn't do shit last year. And that's it's just weird to me. It's like, okay, well, Geno's kind of thriving right now. You're not doing too well. And last year you didn't do too well either. But the guy that's replaced you is thriving. And Geno, like, we all joked about Geno Smith in the offseason, like, oh, Geno Smith's taking over for Russell Wilson. Like, this is going to be just almost like a shit show in Seattle. And Seattle's actually looked pretty decent so far. And that's why it's just like, maybe, I mean, Russell Wilson, like, you are making that much money and you look kind of clueless in that offense right now. I mean, I don't know how, I mean, obviously, you know, we're in week 5 where it's still relatively early, still kind of early in the season, but like, how much longer can they go on like this? You know what I mean? Even though, like, look, obviously he had the injury on played with an injury, but like as the season progresses, how much longer is this going to keep going on? How much of bad play are we going to see from this? You know what I mean? It just kind of, it puts those questions in mind. Is like, maybe Russ wasn't even that good, you know?
I mean, I can't. His numbers speak for themselves. So I mean, I know he's that good, but you have to. I think maybe changing situations. Maybe the locker room's different in Denver. Maybe they lost a lot of playmakers. They lost guys like Von Miller, who's a great locker room guy. I mean, they lost some people that could have been, leaders, and maybe they're searching for that leader. And when you're making $245 million, you should be that leader, no questions asked.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think we'll have to see what happens. But now this injury is on his throwing shoulder. So I mean, this is not like an injury that's going to go away, and it's not something that it's going to get better unless you completely shelf him.
And you can't really lean on the running game anymore because Javonte Williams, he's torn an ACL, so he's probably out the rest of the season too. And Melvin Gordon looked terrible on Thursday night too as well. So
yeah. So I mean, I don't know. This is probably the nightmare of the Denver Broncos coming to life. You're like, we're going to go out, we're going to get our last piece, Super Bowl bound. Here we go. We're 5 weeks in. He hurts himself, and now there's locker room issues like this. Like Kyle Brandt said, this can go downhill very quickly in Denver if you're not winning. When you go out, spend $245 million, trade first-round picks, second-round picks, trade the farm to get your one player, and now they're not performing and they're injured. Oh boy,
it's crazy how that division we talked about before, like the season started, where this division is going to be stacked. It's got so many great quarterbacks in it, and like the Raiders have been doing really bad. Denver's not doing too well, and Chargers have been kind of iffy right now. I mean, obviously the Chiefs are the number 1 team in that division, but like we all thought like this division was going to be just the most competitive one, and just so far it's just a big old it's been that.
Yeah.
Like a goo. It's been that.
It's been a definite goo. Yeah, the contract, 5 years, $245 million. Denver gave up 2 first-round draft picks and more to acquire him. So now I think Dak Prescott had a similar injury, and he sat for a month while it was going to get better.
Yeah.
But now if you're Russell Wilson, you're probably not going to sit for a month because they don't have anybody behind you.
Right.
So
like when this trade happened, it looked like kind of like an even trade for both teams, but now Seattle's kind of like winning in this trade right now.
Seattle knew that they needed a bridge at quarterback, and they invested in a lot of other places in their team, which they needed to do. And so we'll have to see how it turns out. But right now, Denver is hating life with the cap number and the draft picks and everything else out the door. You saw Hamler's frustration, like Kyle Brandt said, throwing his helmet down and, losing that game. And by the way, that was the most awful, horrendous Thursday night football game. I mean, it was all over social media. If you were watching, on Twitter or looking at anything while that game was on, everybody was out to lunch and no one was paying attention to that football game.
I watched maybe a quarter of it, and I was just like, I'm done. This is
Yeah.
I could watch something else right. I'll go stream the Dahmer Show on Netflix right now. And catch up on that. So, all right, let's get
rough
into
Thursday night game.
Let's go into NFL news for Week 5, and Nikki's not here to do news. Also, I'll do news.
Do it.
NFL rumor: OBJ is targeting a return from injury after the trade deadline. He's already been visiting teams across the league, most notably the Buccaneers, the Patriots, the Saints, and even his old team, the Giants. So there's been a lot of speculation of where he's going to go after the trade deadline happens, and also the Rams are up in play too. So OBJ is making his rounds almost like a college recruit, where he's just going to go check out each team. So where do you think he lands, Chip? I mean, obviously the Rams would probably be number one on the list, but other than that, where do you think he's maybe going to go back to LA, or maybe say, hey, I want to catch passes from Tom Brady and they need help in wide receiver because everybody keeps getting hurt. Maybe I'll go down to Tampa.
I think OBJ will have the ability to kind of pick and choose. I mean, it'll all be based on injury. He's targeting November, which is another month away. So we'll be, roughly halfway through the NFL season.
Right.
So we'll see teams, obviously, that need to, expand their passing game or get better in the passing game overall. So I think this will be, for me, this is kind of like he'll have the opportunity maybe to pick a team. I don't know off the top of my head where he would go, but it's also going to have to be a team with a lot of locker room leaders and a lot of guys, a very stable team, because OBJ, as we all know, can be a volatile football presence. And if you don't have a team that has a bunch of leaders and a bunch of, the connection in the locker room, everything is strong, he can derail a football team. His athleticism and what he brings to the table as a football player is perfect. It's exactly what you want. But he has the locker room mentality that some coaches want to stay away from and some might not get.
I know like Tampa Bay was kind of in that conversation too, but after the Antonio Brown thing, it's like I don't think Tampa would even want to like go to another diva wide receiver. And I mean, I don't think they need help that bad on the wide receiver position.
Give me Bill Belichick then. Take an old wide receiver and give me that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Mac Jones would love to throw to OBJ. I mean, that's a big target for him to throw to, and they need help on their wide receiver position too as well. All right, the NFL's new concussion protocol is in effect for this week, starting with the Week 5 games. Obviously, with Tua Tagovailoa going out with that, I can't even talk today. Hey, look, I tried to roll it off the tongue, it didn't happen. Okay, geez,
it's all right, buddy.
Obviously, with his injury and the questions around the protocol with him and the Miami Dolphins, the NFL and the NFLPA did come to a decision about new NFL concussion protocols. So it is being implemented this week and going forward. So that's good. Obviously, it's, guys, we should have had something in place like this a while ago, but it takes another quarterback going down with a head injury to get something in place. So this should be called maybe the Tua rule or something like that. But good. I'm glad, because this player's health is the most important thing in the league right now, because these are gladiators. And then our final news story today, the triumphant return of the Commanders running back Brian Robinson Jr. will play today against the Titans. He's going to be limited to about 20 snaps today, but he is back from after being shot in the buttocks and also the leg preseason. So I'm glad to have him back. I'm sure the Washington Commanders are back. Antonio Gibson did tweet out yesterday, I'm back on special teams. So obviously, I guess Antonio Gibson knows his place on the team now. So welcome back, Brian Robinson Jr. Fantasy owners, let's hope you can reap the benefits for him coming back too as well, because he was looking really good in preseason, and he's hopefully he'll do that in fantasy, man. So welcome back, Brian Robinson Jr. And that's been the news for Week 5. Chip, do we have anything for injuries right now? Injury report coming up yet?
We do. I know there's a lot. There's a lot.
Again, there's a lot.
A lot to get to. So I'll try to do it quickly. So Jameis Winston, Mac Jones, not expected to play both out. Ruled out, we have DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen, Kyle Pitts, Michael Thomas, Johan Dotson, Tua, Dawson Knox, DJ Chark, Jamison Crowder, Cameron Brate, Laviska Shenault Jr., Dak Prescott, Rashad Bateman, Gus Evans, Jonathan Taylor, Kadarius Toney, Wan'Dale Robinson, Kenny Galladay. Those are all guys that are going to be out. Make sure you check your lineups and make sure you get them out. Game time decisions. Right now, Amon St. Brown is going to be active today. I just saw that. Jacoby Myers is going to be active today. Isaiah,
Isaiah McKenzie. See, I'm not the only one having trouble with names today.
Having problems. He is a game-time decision along with Ken Walker III. Joshua Palmer is a game-time decision. Julio Jones, Logan Thomas. Expected to play are guys that are going to go as of right now. Tyreek Hill, Alvin Kamara, Jalen Waddle, David Montgomery stepping back into the fold. Khalil Herbert owners, sorry. Jarvis Landry, Russell Gage, Zay Jones, CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard, Rondell Moore, T. Higgins, Hayden Hurst, Hunter Renfrow. All going to be expected to play, but they could change. So just keep your lineup ready and take a look at changes when we get closer to game time.
God, the injury report is just like a mother every single week.
I mean, the NFC South, and I'm laughing at it. I mean, you've lost Jameis Winston, Alvin Kamara wasn't out, Michael Thomas is out. The Bucs actually get healthy today, get everybody back. Godwin and Evans, which spells trouble for my Atlanta Falcons today, goo. And so also you have Carolina. They had some injuries, not big ones, but they're just struggling really bad. So the NFC South's kind of a banged up cousin who's just walking around in the dark right now, which is horrible.
Hey guys, I'm here to play some football. Hey guys. All right, let's get into our prospective teams' performances from last week. The Bucs obviously were destroyed by Kansas City last week, and your Falcons as well. They if you're Falcons, we picked the Falcons to win last week. I think they did win last week, right?
Yes, they did win. So they keep on rolling.
I'm going to give again, the Bucs playing. So this week it was the defense problem, not the offensive problem against Kansas City. So it's like each and every week we have a problem on one side of the ball for Bucs. I mean, no offense, Chip. Hopefully this game rights the ship per se, and the Bucs will play well against Atlanta. But I think this game might be closer than what everybody thinks it's going to be. I mean, you guys run the ball well.
Yeah. Well, just to speak, last week I rode with the Falcons. They won by a field goal. They were able to run the football. A lot of the running backs, Algiers, a lot of the other guys got involved. The defense was able to kind of clamp down, and the Falcons held on for dear life and won. Caleb Huntley had a touchdown towards the end, and they could basically run the football. So that was good. But today, I mean, this is like the Falcons are riding high, and I'm excited for them. But this is like the buzzsaw. You're going to get angry Tom Brady. They're going to have their full complement of wide receivers. You're going to have Godwin. You're going to have Evans. I just think it'll stay close for a little bit, but I think after the first half, the Godwins and the Evans and Tom Brady they're going to pull away. So right now the Falcons are tied for first in the NFC, but this will be a big game for them because with a full complement, like we said, of all their talent back, the Falcons hopefully can match up for a little bit, but I just don't see him carrying it through the entire game.
This might not be the game the Falcons want to play Tom Brady because it's mixed. It's like mixed emotion. Tom Brady's because he's mad about last week, and he's also sad that he might be getting a divorce. Well, so he might be furious, Tom Brady.
I honestly think if the Falcons play anyone else today, they have a chance to win. But this just came at the wrong time. When you look at the schedule, you're riding high. You beat teams that right now are having some issues. Like Cleveland is kind of all over the place. They don't have Deshaun Watson. The Rams had some injuries and they kept that game close, but you're getting better every week. And this is not the game you want to have, when that happens. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Any game that has Tom Brady being emotional, in a bad way, I would not want to face him at any time.
No,
not at all.
I mean, it's going to be, it's going to be interesting to see I think the line on this one, and we'll save this for game breakdown, but it was 10, I think. So who knows? So that's a lot of points. So we'll see what the story is.
All right, now it's time for heroes and villains of last week. Heroes and villains. Chip, I got some heroes from last week. I'll go over my heroes first. TJ Hawkinson was a manimal last week.
A guy that I talked about on the show. You just took one of my
179,
heroes.
2 tutties. He was a hero last week. And then I've got Rashad Penny, 151, 2 tutties. And I've got Damian Pierce, 14 receptions, 131, 1 tutty from last week. So those are my 3 heroes from last week.
Yep. Falcons, obviously, I just said the running game. That was kind of a hero for me. I loved watching that. But also Hawkinson, that game, what was it, 49 to
48 to 48 to it was a shootout, man. That's what I liked about it. Because like even though Detroit lost, Detroit's fun even though they lose.
Well, yeah, that's a whole new. And even though Swift was out, they still were able to put up that many points. I mean, that's just, it was unheard of.
48 to 45 was the total score.
Which that was one of the higher over-unders we looked at and said that could be a great game points-wise if you got fantasy players. So DeAndre Swift obviously out again today. So Jamal Williams should have another good game.
He had 2 tutties last week. Jared Goff had a monster game, 27 for 37, 356. I'm sorry, I'm looking at Matt Ryan's. I'm sorry, 26 for 39, 378, and 4 tutties last week against Seattle. So he had a great game too. So I love Detroit, even though they lose. They're just fun to watch, man. Villains. I have anybody on the Denver Broncos. Period. That's it.
Dude, I talked about last show. Matt Ryan. I wanted him to go and be able to start well, and God, dude, the Indianapolis Colts offensive line is just not. They're plugging and playing, shifting guys all over the place, and I feel sad. I'm sad for Matt Ryan. I don't even want to call him a villain. I wanted him to have the opportunity to do well, and it's just not going well. Also, another villain, a guy who I'm not starting today, who I've had and drafted fairly high, is DJ Moore. I mean, I hate DJ Moore. Baker Mayfield was supposed to at least maybe help the passing game a little bit, but DJ Moore now has been moved off to the side. He is on my bench, and I will not be starting him anymore because he's hurt my feelings. So DJ Moore, you are a villain.
Speaking of DJ Moore, I don't know if you knew this. He did kind of call out Baker.
Yes,
a couple weeks ago in a presser that he kind of threw some shade at Baker. Like going to those 2 teams, the Colts and the Panthers. Like I feel bad for Colts fans too because they have so much talent on that team. It just seems like every single year they try this 1-year quarterback experiment. Now, obviously, when they brought in Old Man Rivers, like they went to the playoffs, and that seemed to work out for the most part. But then, you bring in Carson Wentz, that was a disaster. And so far with the Matt Ryan thing, it's not working out too well. Like I usually have hope for the Colts because they're such a talented team, but like look, you guys might have to bite the bullet and draft somebody and just kind of suck for a couple of years because the 1-year quarterback, it's not working out so far.
Well, Jonathan Taylor, they can't run the football. Jonathan Taylor has great days out of the backfield, and when you have Jonathan Taylor and you cannot run the football effectively, that's saying something. Now, they've had injuries, so you have to deal with it like every other team, but their offensive line was based on those starting guys, and when they start moving them and shuffling them, you don't get the continuity. Their rookie from Central Michigan, Brett, was it Maher or can't remember the name of that kid, but he was really well. But he went to Central Michigan, so he didn't play against top tier talent. He had a bad game last week. I think he had penalties like consecutively, like 4 or 5 penalties in the first half. So they gotta make up for it, and hopefully they can find some protect Matt Ryan and open up some holes.
The quarterback situation in Indianapolis is almost kind of like that T-shirt Cleveland Browns fans have where every year they just put another name on the jersey. That's what it's coming down to in Indianapolis. Like this year it'll be Matt Ryan, and then maybe next year it'll be somebody different. It just keeps getting worse.
Think about this. Imagine you had Andrew Luck. You were doing you weren't doing great, but you thought you had your future quarterback for the next 10, 12 years. He retires suddenly, and then after that, it's like the wheels fell off. You drafted a quarterback high, and then you went, oh my God, what if they retire? And now they haven't done that. So who knows?
All right, that's been heroes and villains for this week. Chip, let's get into our lines and matchups for this week. Give me 1 second. I'll pull it up, courtesy of DraftKings. Make sure to go to DraftKings and put your DFS and your bets in if you're able to bet, especially on the sportsbook era. So yeah, we've got the Giants and Packers game still 20. I haven't refreshed this. Let me refresh this real quick.
Refresh that.
Yeah, that's still whatever it is. Oh, it's 2020 now. And we're in the fourth quarter with about 9 minutes left.
This is going to be like Denver. We all picked Indy.
Yeah.
And then they lost. This game has the same feel to that.
All right, let's go through our matchups. The Steelers and the Bills. The Bills coming in as a 13.5 point favorite with the over-under of 44.5. That's too much. I don't think it's going to be that bad of a blowout, man. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, that is a lot.
That's a lot.
I give you that. I mean, I still think the Bills. I mean, I would feel confident in saying they cover, to be honest with you, but that is a lot of points.
Yeah, I know Kenny Pickett's being rolled out for his first official start as
at Buffalo, which is goo. Why would you do that to a rookie? Dear God.
Goo! That's our first goo.
We need to get the audio on the goo. Yes.
I don't for a prop. I mean, I would say for INTs thrown today will probably be 3 for Kenny.
Yeah. Well,
he had about 4. He had about 4 in the last in those 2 quarters that he played last week.
Well, he's they're saying a little bit of weather. They're saying high winds today in Buffalo.
Ugh.
So keep that in the back of your head. I mean, Stephon Diggs should have a great day, I think, depending upon the win, obviously. But I think Kenny Pickett probably under 200 or 205 yards passing, probably.
All right. So obviously we're picking both the Bills on this game.
We're going to take the Bills on this one. But, yeah, that's just I hope Kenny Pickett makes it out of there alive because the Steelers, obviously, their line is not the best line. They're awful. And Buffalo has a front rotation and a pass rush that can eat him alive. So I hope Kenny Pickett, bring your Advil to the sidelines, get your Gatorade ready. Could be a long day, bud.
All right, we've got the Chargers playing the Browns. Chargers coming in as a 2-point favorite with a over-under is 47.5. I like this all the way.
Yeah.
I do. I'm going to pick the Chargers though on this one, but I think the Browns will probably cover the 2 points on that one. So I like this. There's no goo on that.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Chargers as to. I think this game will be bigger than that. I don't know. We'll see. It all depends. I think Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney should both be back. So if they're both playing, that could be interesting because we both know the Chargers offensive line could be in trouble.
Let me ask you about Austin Eckler, man. And Austin Eckler's been kind of a fantasy disappointment so far. Obviously, last week he had a great game. He had a fantastic game. And it's the game everybody was waiting on all season long. And he just blew out the covers last week for fantasy. Do you think this is kind of like that last week was the things we're going to keep on seeing? I mean, obviously, he's just been terrible the first 4 weeks. But do you think that was, okay, hey, that's the Austin Eckler we've seen. Going forward, we're going to see more of that. Do you think that's going to happen, or is it going to go back to the same?
I mean, I think you should see that because I think the offense is a good focal point around him. Like the problem is when you lose your Slater, you lose your starting tackle. Their offensive line wasn't that great to begin with, so now they got to reshuffle. So, I think you see some screens and some dump passes. Keenan Allen, I know, was on the injury report. Was he out today?
I think he's out. I think he might be out again today.
Yeah, if he's out again, obviously you're going to be looking at Mike Williams.
Yep.
And obviously Eckler will benefit from that as well. So I think he'll still be a focal point for the offense. But like I said, if you've got Jadeveon Clowney healthy and a healthy Myles Garrett, you might be running a lot today, or you might be doing a lot of quick passes. So just look out for that.
Yes, and Keenan Allen is officially out for today.
Yes.
Against the Browns, so yes. All right, our next game is the Houston Texans going against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars are a 7-point favorite. Over-under is 43.5. I like this all the way. I'm picking Jags on this one too as well to win. The Jags, they've been putting up a lot of points, which is something that we've all been wanting to see from this Jacksonville offense with Trevor Lawrence underneath center. I like this matchup. It's a divisional matchup to itself. I mean, this could be a sloppy game because both teams are, they're not as polished as everybody would like them to be. What do you think about this matchup, Chip?
Dude, I love Jacksonville. I think they're turning everything around. I also love Damian Pierce here, running back for Houston, who's getting a bigger target share and just keeps getting going. So, yeah, I definitely like Jacksonville, and I like the over in this game, 43.5.
Yeah, I'm going to go over too.
Yeah, I think that's going to be not demolished, but I think they'll be over that.
Pierce is ranking 10th right now in the NFL with 313 yards rushing. So he's getting up there in the top 10. So I have him on the block right now. I need to spruce up my fantasy team, so I'm shopping him around right now.
Well, dude, he's good, especially if you're looking for some value today on DraftKings. I mean, I don't think he's that much as far as money was concerned. I was just trying to look him up real quick just to see. But I would definitely take a look and look at, putting him in your lineup today if you can. Yeah, he's 6,200. There might be a little bit better value out there, but still,
that's not too bad though. 6,200. Yeah. That's not too bad.
I mean, Breece Hall today is 5,400, so he's definitely a good value, I think, as well. But yeah, definitely take a peek. Pierce should be good today.
All right, our next matchup: the Chicago Bears going against the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings are an 8.5-point favorite. The over/under is 43.5. As you said before the show, or during the beginning of the show, David Montgomery is back. So Khalil Herbert owners, we're sorry, he will have to be on your bench.
Well, yeah, he's expected to play, so I don't know if he's actually back, but he's trending that direction. So,
would you still plug in Herbert as a flex option? I mean, if you had no other people there, would you, just in case? I mean, because we've seen Montgomery and Herbert kind of play. The snaps have been almost, I would say, 60-40. I mean, Herbert is more fitting into that offense than Montgomery is. Would you still put Herbert in just to save face?
I mean, yeah, if you're completely shut out of running backs, I mean, if you could go to the waiver wire, a lot of the Falcons guys that scored last week were available. Caleb Huntley, Algiers, those guys, you can plug one of those in at the waiver wire, probably still out there. But yeah, I probably would, just considering David Montgomery hadn't played in a little bit, so he's not going to have his legs underneath him. So if you're stuck, yeah, go ahead and start him. But I think this game will probably go under, and I think Minnesota wins and covers. So,
okay. Next matchup, the Lions and the Patriots. Patriots coming in as a 3-point favorite. The over/under is 47. I'm taking the over on this one, and I'll take the points.
Dude, everybody, you know what? Bill Belichick right now at 1-3. I need this game.
Did you see him fuming last week on the sidelines?
Dude,
I thought he was going to have a heart attack. He was so pissed off, dude.
El Bushman, today I am freaking watching this. I want Detroit to go in to the Patriots, to go in there and just rip their heart outs. We just had an update on some injuries before I go bonkers on the Detroit Lions winning, hopefully. Julio Jones is out. Alvin Kamara is in. So Julio does not get the revenge game he wants, unfortunately, against the Falcons. Thank God. And Alvin Kamara is in. But yeah, I need Detroit to go in to New England, to Foxborough, and just, rip their guts out, rip their hearts out. That's what I want today.
Chip, I got you, my man. We're going to go in there. We're going to snap some necks. We're going to take Belichick. We're going to take him by his hoodie, drag him down the sidelines, and stomp on him. That's what we're going to do.
I got to tell you, that's going to be the one that I'm watching, and I'm going to be a big Lions fan today just because of the post-game presser. If the Lions go to Foxborough and win, I just want to see the steam off Bill Belichick. Just the fuming, the heat. I want to see.
Well, you know how Belichick's going to be. He's like, we're just going to move on to the next game. I don't want to talk about it.
He can't hide behind that veneer today. If Detroit goes in there, I want him to wreck them, work them.
Next question. Sorry, no, I'm not answering those questions. No, next game. Where else? That's in the past. We're going to move on. I want this. I want that to happen.
I know. I really do. I take the Lion and the points and scamper here. 3. What is it at? All right, I have a hard time saying what.
Plus 3. Plus 3.
Yeah. Take that. Shoot.
Yeah, I'll take it. Too.
Yep.
Are you taking the over on this one? Because I'll definitely take the over on this one.
Yeah.
Just because the Lions have been putting up so many points.
I think that, but also the only thing that scares me with taking that over is you got Bailey Zapp, who still, he did play last week. But I just,
what a name.
yeah, I mean, I think Detroit, yeah, why not? They could coax an interception, maybe a Detroit score defensively, which that would even be better. I would just, I'll take the over. Sure.
Okay. All right. Next matchup, the Seattle Seahawks are a 5-point underdog against the Andy Dalton-led New Orleans Saints. The over-under is 45. I like it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I think the Seahawks will probably cover the 5. Over, I'm not sure about the 45, the over-under. I might take the under on this one, just because I don't like it. I mean, Andy Dalton leading another team.
You know what? I just think that you gotta. I hate saying this, Seattle, but we talked about it earlier. Geno Smith, shocked, like we said, Seattle. Oh God, Geno Smith, here we go. But he's doing stuff. I would definitely take the under, but yeah, I'd take Seattle in this one, even though Alvin Kamara is going to play today. I like Seattle.
I like Seattle too. I think I'm picking. I think I did pick Seattle in this one.
I was trying to go back to see what I had done. I didn't pick that one yet, so we'll see.
I did pick that one, and I did pick the Seahawks because I like just Seahawks are without Russell Wilson. They seem just like a breath of fresh air on that team. They just look like they're having fun playing football.
I agree.
All right, we've got an AFC matchup, AFC East matchup. The Miami Dolphins playing the New York Jets. Tua is going to be not playing this week again for the Dolphins, so we got Teddy Bridgewater leading the Dolphins, who are a 3.5-point favorite going into this game with the over/under 46. I'm picking. See, I have a tough call on this one.
Yeah,
just because there's no Tua there, and the Jets. True. The Jets have been surprisingly not that shitty. So
they look good, and Zach Wilson played last week, like we talked about. So I don't know. This is another tough one here.
Yeah, this could be like a flip of the coin game for this week.
Yeah, we'll have to. I'm gonna go. I mean, right now I like Miami minus the 3. I probably am taking the under though, because you still like you said, you got a backup quarterback coming in.
Yep. I'll take the points, but I'll take the under on it.
Yeah, I'll probably take Miami, but I got to tell you, this is at New York. I might change that one. That one might be. We might have a Jets look.
All right.
Later before this one kicks off.
And a divisional matchup, the NFC South. My team and your team going against one another at Raymond James Stadium at 1:00. The Atlanta Falcons are coming in as a 10-point underdog, and the over/under is 46.5. 10 points to me is too much. I don't think it's going to be that big of a. I think it's going to be closer than what everybody thinks it's going to be. I really do.
I think. I don't know. This is one of these games where the Falcons, all the progress that we've made could be ripped out, and just our hearts could be cut open down there at the Ray J, dude. It could be just operation time. Everybody gets shot. It's going to be horrible. Tom Brady's going to be angry. Everybody's going to be healthy. I mean, I honestly, I can see Tampa covering this, but the Falcons are a young team. They've been resilient. They hang in on all their football games. So I would feel comfortable minus the 10 just because of Tom Brady. But I took him for fantasy this year, and he's thrown he did well last game for the first time in the entire NFL season. So maybe me having Brady, maybe he has an awful game today. So I don't know. I would definitely, unfortunately, I hate having being a Falcons fan and having to take Tom Brady in this one, but yeah, I would take him, and I think it's going to cover.
I mean, he does start off slow. Maybe last week was like that turn of the page where it's like, and I'm emotional now because I might be getting divorced. I'm just going to say F you to everybody. Maybe.
At the beginning of this year, when they had rumors about that and we were drafting, I was like, well, nothing will affect Tom Brady. We heard that right before our draft, that there's possibilities of waves going on. It could be a divorce. And I still drafted him, and good Lord, that's where I am. So,
all right. The Tennessee Titans playing the Washington Commanders today. As we said early in the show, Brian Robinson Jr. will be back in full uniform playing today, but only limited to 20 snaps. So be mindful if you're putting him into your daily fantasy or your fantasy lineups altogether. Titans coming in as a 1-point favorite. The over-under is 43. I'll take it all the way. Commanders have been just kind of inept on offense right now. Maybe Brian Robinson is that shot in the arm, but I'll still take the points and I'll take the under on this one as well.
Yeah, I'll go over. I think that you started to see some chemistry. Obviously, Treylon Burks will be out today. So you got Bobby Trees, who at the beginning of the year I said, hey, look, this is a running team. Stay away from him. But Bobby Trees has put together some good fantasy outcomes. So when Treylon Burks is out, Tannehill and him are kind of starting to get a thing together. So we'll see what happens. But
you were getting kind of mad at Robert Woods first couple of weeks.
Bobby Trees was in the Rams and he was getting the ball a lot and he was doing things. But now when you lose your Wookiee, Burks, who was the number 1 pick, and teams are going to stack the box against Henry. So you should have Bobby Trees with one-on-one coverage. So give me some. I like Bobby Trees today as well. But yeah, still taking the Titans and still covering the points.
All right. San Francisco 49ers and the Carolina Panthers. San Fran's coming in as a 6.5-point favorite. The over-under is 40. I'll take the over on this one, and I'll take the points, and I'll take 49ers to win.
Jimmy G doing exactly what he does every week. Came in, gets a victory, looks sharp, team clicks. So yeah, give me Jimmy G, but also Carolina's just lost. Like, even though McCaffrey now is in the top 10, I think he might be top 5 in fantasy right now, but I don't know. This could be an under game.
Okay.
It could be a trap under game, but I love San Francisco minus the 6.5 or 7, whatever it was. So yeah, give me that.
All right. Philadelphia Eagles, one of the hottest team right now in the NFL.
Makes me want to.
Playing the Arizona Cardinals today. They are a 5-point favorite. The over-under is 48.5. I'll take Eagles to win. I'll take the points, and I'll take the over on this one.
Dude, points aplenty in this one. Potentially the Eagles, God, makes me want to vomit. I just can't believe they're off to a great start. Hurts is doing things, making things happen. Kyler Murray, one of the guys we talked about beginning of the year who could be falling out of the top 5, was a guy coming in, still waiting for his number 1 receiver. Hopkins supposed to be back, I think, in week 8 or week 9. So we won't get to see the full potential of this offense till later. But yeah, like the Eagles, like a lot of points in this one. Look for them.
Chip, I know there's a lot of people that drafted Hopkins late because of his suspension. Do you think it's really going to make a difference when he comes back? Because when he was on there before last year, he just seemed they didn't gel together last year that well.
Yeah, I think. Well, Rondale Moore has been out, so he's been banged up. They also haven't had Hopkins, so you've had Marquise Brown, you've had Zach Ertz, who's put together pretty good fantasy numbers thus far. Connor doesn't have Chase Edmonds, so he's getting a lot of the work there. So this offense has changed a lot since we saw it last year. But everything in the offseason with Kyler Murray not, going into the playbook and not doing all his stuff. So I just think there are a lot of things that are causing this offense to stutter a little bit or sputter. But I think when Hopkins comes back, you get a definite target that you can hit, and he's going to come down with the ball most of the time. So I think it will get better. They just got to get through this time without him and hopefully find other ways to score.
All right. Dallas Cowboys and the Los Angeles Rams. Rams coming in as a 5-point favorite with the over-under is 42. Cooper Rush is still playing the starting quarterback. I guess Dak will be back next week.
Yeah.
That is the plan. Of course, there is no quarterback controversy down in Dallas. So, yeah, sorry. There's no drama down there. Even though Jerry Jones wants it, there's no drama down there. I'll take the points. I'll take the under on this one, though.
Yeah, I mean, well, the Rams defense has been kind of, where are you? Like, they've kind of checked out. They're outside the top 10 in overall defenses in fantasy. So I just can't believe Cooper Rush. Like, I can't. I don't even know what to say. So yeah, I mean, I like Dallas.
Wait, you like Dallas to cover or
I
Dallas?
like Dallas to win.
Oh,
I
okay.
like Dallas to win, I think, and they're getting 5.5. So,
Okay.
or what was the spread?
It was 5.
Good, 5. Okay.
It was 5.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think Dallas will win, and I also think they'll cover.
Okay. Our primetime matchup tonight is the in-division matchup is the Cincinnati Bengals going against the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens coming in as a 3-point favorite. The over-under is 47.5. I'll take the points, and I'll take the over on this one. And I like the Ravens to win. Lamar Jackson's playing out of his mind right now because he hasn't got a contract yet. He hasn't got a contract.
Cincinnati kind of put it all together last week.
Yes.
For the first time. Definitely like the over in this one.
Okay.
I'll take Baltimore right now, but I could flip a coin pretty much and kind of see. I think once now that they get moving, I think the Bengals could be a dangerous team. But I'll take the home team right now.
Okay. All right. Our last matchup for this week is tomorrow night's Monday night matchup is the Raiders versus the Chiefs. Chiefs coming in as a 7-point favorite. The over-under is 51.5. I like the points. I think the Chiefs are like there's something going. I don't know why the Raiders, with all the talent that they have, has been so disappointing right now. Like so disappointing. But yeah. I think it's gonna. This is a tough call because the Raiders could show up on Monday Night Football against their Chiefs. I'll take the under, and I'll take the points, I think. I'm like a little sketchy on this one, though. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, I know it's a tough one.
Yeah, kind of like you said. I mean, I definitely I'm going to take the Chiefs minus the 7, but I like even though this over is 51.5, I think it's the highest on the board.
Yeah, I think so.
I think you see a shootout, and I think they're just chucking the ball all over the place.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
you are right. They are the highest point total right now.
Yeah.
51. Yep. Okay. All right. That's been our betting lines for this week and also the matchups for week 5. Make sure to bet accordingly and responsibly for week 5. Plug in those DFS lineups right now for week 5. And Chip, let's do the Wheel of Death before we close it out. Obviously, Nikki's not here. She can't do her punishments.
That's right.
So
that's an update. We have Giants 27, Green Bay 20. Am I reading that right?
You got to be kidding me, right?
Oh, boy. There's 1 minute, 11 seconds left. Wow.
You are correct. The Giants. Come on, man. Come on, Green Bay.
She's gonna go nuts. Nikki's gonna go nuts next week.
That's true. All right, let's do our Wheel of Death for next week. One of us, if she keeps winning these games, it might be one of us that does the punishment. So
I know.
All right, let's do this. And it is Wake and Bake. All right. That's right up my alley. I think I kind of want to lose.
There you go.
All right. Wake and Bake is our punishment for next week. I'm looking forward to that. Awesome. Yeah.
You had a little one enter the room behind you.
I know. That's right. I don't know where she went.
There you go. Hey, that's what happens.
All right, everybody. That has been another episode of Channelside Bets. Make sure to have a great week 5. The matchups will be going up in about less than more than half an hour or so. Make sure to get all your lineups in. Lock them in right now through DraftKings, through FanDuel, through all your betting apps as well. We will see you guys next week at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Channelside Sports. Make sure to go to the website on YouTube and smash that subscribe and that notification bell. We will see you guys, for myself and Chip. We'll see you guys next week. Go Bucs.
Go Falcons.